Our podcast today is brought to you courtesy of the YPN committee. We really thank them for bringing us this content. And if you or your business is interested in sponsoring as well, please reach out to us at communications@sabor.com. All right. Howdy, everybody. Today, we have MarkAnthony Ball with us. MarkAnthony, how are you today?
Hi, I'm well. How about yourself?
Super excited to talk to you. You won our inaugural award, Social Media Influencer of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so because you won that award, we thought we would love to learn a lot about how you got to this point. Yeah. You've been in the real estate for 5 years. And you've already managed to accumulate some great success, and you, thankfully, are willing to share it with everyone, which is awesome. So do me a favor. Introduce the people who are listening to you. Tell me where you started, military veteran, and how you got here.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack. I don't know how much time we have.
All the time you need.
Hi, everyone. My name is MarkAnthony Ball. I'm originally from San Diego, California. I was in the military for 12 years. I was active duty Army. I was in the medical profession. At about year 11, I decided, hey, I might need to figure out my exit plan. I was in a lot of debt at the time, and I said, well, I can't get out of the military with all this debt, so I decided to get into real estate right before COVID hit. Got into it. I was about $60,000 worth of debt, paid that all off in about 6 months, and I realized, wow, I'm really good at this.
Okay, but $60,000 in 6 months, are you trying to say everyone can achieve that, or was that pretty hard work? It was also COVID.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of factors. I mean, I think that
perfect storm.
Yeah. If anyone, I feel like if you just have the right situation, you could definitely clear whatever goal that you want. I didn't expect to do it in 6 months, to be honest. I didn't have a timeline for it, but I think that in a perfect storm or depending on the person's determination, you can do anything that you want. I mean, even in this market right now where things are even just a little bit slow, you can make some big moves in this market, you know?
Yep.
But I realized I was just really good at this, and I was supposed to go to med school. Imagine my mom's disappointment when I told her, hey, I'm actually going to stick with this real estate stuff. And since then, I was at an independent brokerage, started a team, disbanded a team, went over to a new brokerage, and really just decided to grow my business. I went all in on social media, and that's where we are now.
Okay, so we're going to jump into all in on social media, but when we get there, so would the time you were in the military and the time that you were doing medical, do you think any of that kind of helps you along the way? Or when you did transition into real estate, you just started completely from scratch, like whole new profession, whole new everything?
I think that there was a lot of factors to being in the military that really helped in real estate. Just having the discipline, having the time blocking, responsibility, having tact on learning how to talk to different people in different ways. You wouldn't talk to a general the same way that you would talk to one of your same ranked colleagues or someone who is, ranked a little bit below. There's different speaking styles for different people. And I've had to learn that in real estate. There are some clients where you can joke around a bit. And there are some clients who are just very straight to the point. They want ABC 1, 2, 3. And you're like, okay, cannot joke with this person. And that's fine. And I think that it just really helped me build the expectation of what I can expect when it comes into real estate.
Okay. Structure. You mentioned that it gave you a lot of structure. And I have always heard social media requires structure. I think some people feel like it's a fluid thing. If I post here and there, I assume you're going to tell us that you have to be consistent on your social media. So how did you start social media in real estate? When did you click, you know what, if I'm going to be successful at this, I need to leverage this tool? Would you call it a tool?
I'd call it a tool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think anything, if used correctly, could be used as a tool. I think that when it comes to using social media, just like you said, consistency is where it's at. And it doesn't have to be an everyday consistency. If you are a once a week type of person, let it be once a week and go from there. But I do really recommend and encourage people to build that up because the algorithm wants to love you, but the algorithm can't really work much with one post a week. And more importantly, it can't work with one post that is a stock picture of someone that is not you on a house that you did not sell saying Merry Christmas. You know what I mean? That doesn't do anything for your brand. It's just another trash image that people are just going to scroll through. It's another spam image that people really don't want to see. People really want to see your personality. And so I usually tell people, start with the bare minimum where you're kind of comfortable. Start with a static photo and then kind of work your way up, have some videos, etc. And if you don't know what content to put out, my favorite assistant is ChatGPT. I tell it exactly what I want to do, the brand I want to create, the feeling I want to have, and it spits out that information for me.
And it spits out a framework. It's not reinventing you or creating something that is not you. If you give it the right info, it says like, hey, think about this, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you decide social media was the way you were going to help pay off all that debt?
I learned that if you focus on something that you're just really absolutely in love with and you hone in on it, you can make a lot of money from it.
Okay.
And social media is just something I've always had a passion with. I've just always loved just having that fun connection with people that I do know and some people that I don't know. I love that vibe. And so I really decided that, hey, I'm going to just showcase what I do, because I came into real estate pretty young. I think I came in at 28 years old. Not many people at my age were coming into real estate, and they're just like, how do you do this? And I really wanted to showcase the behind the scenes of a 28-year-old real estate agent and how that actually works and what you have to do and the day-to-day stuff. And it really just started to transform into real estate, into lifestyle, into hanging out with family. It just became an all-encompassing brand that people naturally gravitated and flocked to. And it really just turned me into almost a pillar of what to do and what not to do in social media. Trust me, I'm not the blueprint at all, but I definitely think that what I have done by curating a single Instagram profile has definitely pushed me to getting in front of as much eyes as possible.
Okay. So do you think that you would have been as successful without leveraging social media?
Oh God, no.
Yeah. and because there's somebody listening
Yeah.
here who's like, I don't do camera. I don't do chat GPT.
Yeah.
You said so yourself. Like, you got in young. And so there's other folks who are transitioning out of careers, and they're hearing this. They're like, no, I'm not doing this social media. I'm not putting myself out there. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where we didn't take photos because you have no proof.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that how would you tell those people, like, you can get comfortable? It doesn't have to be crazy and out there. Like, just making a presence is what's important.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing. First of all, social media, it doesn't have to be for everybody. If that's just not something that you're willing to do, I completely understand and I get it. But I don't want you to get in your way. I think that a lot of real estate agents, we get in our own way of greatness because of a little bit of uncomfortability. But let's be honest and let's be real. Real estate is an uncomfortable industry. We're talking to random people that we don't know. We kind of feel like we're salesy. We're trying to pitch someone whether they should buy or sell, or hey, maybe if you can't sell, let's go ahead and rent. It's a very uncomfortable job. People think that they know too much about our industry already. And so at this point, you might as well just stay in the uncomfortable train. Start with getting comfortable with real estate by doing talking head videos. There's a lot of great people on social media who do it. Glenda Baker and a whole bunch of other folks that I emulated my social media profile on when I first came in to really just get the ball rolling. When it comes to social media, though, just do things that you can kind of get comfortable with. Even if you just record it yourself and you never post it, at least you see yourself, you hear yourself, and you can make those changes on, hey, look, this is something I want to do anyway. Let me just go ahead and at least try and go from there. We never know until we try.
You say platform, and I just want to know, does that mean platform as in I'm talking Instagram, Facebook, X, or you're saying your platform is what you are in your brand?
A bit of both.
Okay.
I think that it's important for people to recognize, though, pick a platform that you want to grow on. You're
saying Facebook, Instagram, whichever one it is.
Correct.
Start with one?
Exactly.
Okay.
Especially if you're new to this, because there's so much stuff that goes into making a social media post, especially if you're planning on editing or any of that. There's so many. TikTok has a different platform than Instagram does, and Instagram looks different than how Facebook does, and Facebook looks different from X, and you're trying to learn how to post and leverage on 4 different platforms.
I can see
and
that.
It gets overwhelming.
Trying to take on the way Facebook communicates and the way TikTok communicates is completely different.
Exactly.
So, and would you say, like, hey, if I make this one video, I'll just post it on all 3. Is that effective?
Sure, but for me, I'm trying to grow my TikTok. What I post on Instagram that trends and gets thousands, my TikTok will have 5 views, and I'm like, this went viral on Instagram. What do you mean it's not picking up over here? So not everything is for every platform. I feel like TikTok, they really want almost grunge down sometimes. Like, hey, this is the life of a real estate agent. I'm going to do chores at another house that I don't even do at my own house. I'm over here sweeping leaves at a listing that I don't even do at my own actual house. That's what people want to see on TikTok. Whereas on Instagram, they, a lot of times, at least from what I'm seeing, they want to see the multi-million-dollar prim and proper, all that great stuff that people are really interested in. So it depends on the content that you're trying to put out and what it really attracts to.
I don't know if you were alive during the times of Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, but it was then, right? Like, people love to go see other people's houses and how they lived.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, correct me if I'm wrong, some people think social media, and you're telling me to get on social media, that means I need to give a house tour in 2 minutes. Or, the people who've been running through houses, like, let me show you the kitchen. Like, that's not what you're saying. Like,
no.
And so when you say platform, it's also, what does that look like to you? I saw one the other day. There was a lady, and all the comments were, I don't know who helped you do this, but this is fantastic. And she was very, I was going to say demure, just following on to social media, very mindful. But all she said was, we're going to play, hide and seek. Can you see me?
I love that video.
And it was, did you see it?
I love that
And so
video.
it's like just there, like, you think I'm there? No, I'm here.
Yeah.
And there's like, no, and it wasn't acting.
Yeah.
It was just well scripted. But how would you tell people, just feel comfortable coming up with that? How do you tell them to go ask their 13-year-old, what should I do? Like, that was very creative and it's gone viral.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I tell people do what feels good. And again, just remain in the uncomfortable space. I love when people use their kids to hold cameras, because at the end of the day, sometimes you're not going to find someone who's also passionate, who can take time out of their day to record for you. You know what I mean? And if this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do. I mean, I brought a whole tripod to this podcast, and sometimes you're not going to have a camera person to record for you. So pop it up, hit record, and try and figure it out from there. But again, it goes into feeling what works well for you. If you're not comfortable with property tours yet, don't start with it yet. You don't need to do a 12-minute, hey, follow me throughout this house, and I can just go through the entire thing. Sometimes you have to jump cut it. You start in a living room and say, hey guys, welcome to the living room ABC. Okay, you finish that scene. Breathe. Okay, what's the script for the next room? And then you kind of just move from there. Or if you want to do something playful, do something playful. There's a lot of great things out on social media. There's rapping realtors, there's ASMR realtors, there's so many things that people...
For those who don't know.
Exactly. That's exactly what that is. There's so many things that people are using to get their word out there that's separating themselves from the norm. So...
Now, you did come in here and you had a tripod and you recorded us here for a second.
Yeah.
And I think most people are going to say, no, that guy's got a production team. He's got a stylist. He probably walks around with 6 people. Tell him the truth. Sometimes? All the time?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Okay.
I for people who don't know me, I live in celebrity delusion. One day I will be a celebrity and it's going to be great. So up until then, I'm going to have everything that I need to train my brain to this is what I want and this is how I feel. You know what I mean? And so there are days where it's literally just a tripod, and there are other days where I have my cameraman and we have hair and then we have makeup and we have outfits and we have a whole bunch of stuff, but it depends on what I'm shooting. I'm not going to go to the Pearl with all of that. I'm just probably going to have me or my cameraman or even a tripod. But if we're doing a multi-million-dollar home tour up in, Stone Oak or even the Dominion or any of that, we're probably going to have a crew out there, just because I know how I like my videos to be shot and seen and how I want myself to be displayed on social media. And so I really just leverage in and all of that.
You said celebrity delusion? Mm-hmm. Is that are we manifesting that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Have you gotten recruited for a show yet?
I've been on TV with Shaq already, so that was really fun. I was on
Okay.
Lucky 13. I'm interviewing for a few reality TV shows that
None of which we can talk about yet?
Can't talk about
Why
it yet.
not? I want to be able to say I interviewed you before.
Right.
Okay.
But my presence will be missed because I will be gone for a very long time during said shows. But I mean, that's just, it's the goal.
If you let me on the set, I'll be cool with that.
Tell me about it. But I'll still be selling real estate. I have it to where I set my business to really work autonomously while I'm gone. So I'm super excited about that.
So talking about setting things up autonomously, is there, I think I hear you, and I know our production team here, right? And we have a whole communications department for the association. And you talk about like, oh man, a video a week, it may not get what you need to. Mm-hmm. And so I've always heard the more you post, the better. Is there ways to automate some of this and not make it such a heavy lift? Because I may hear that and I'm like, you know what? I can barely do one video a month, let alone one a week.
Yeah.
And you're saying that's not enough? How do we tell people to like, hey, there's other tools out there that help make it easier for you to make that jump?
I think the big thing is people are worried about content. How do I shoot a week's worth of content, multiple weeks worth of content in X, Y, and Z? I normally tell people if you're just starting, do an hour-long session, change different shirts, et cetera, and break up that thing. Over an hour, you have maybe 10, 20 small reels that you can post. And that way you don't have to worry about it. You can pre-schedule everything on Instagram. There's also an app called Scheduler. You can always do that as well. It'll automatically disperse it for you without you even having to worry about it. The heavy lifting is really just recording, changing outfits. Maybe if you want, change the scene. So if I'm sitting on this side of the table, maybe I swap over to that side of the table, and really just adding a plant behind me so it really gives a different vibe, because you don't want to keep uploading the same things and people think it's the same video. So you really have to be deliberate on how we're presenting the videos that we are doing. So that's some of the stuff that we can do. You definitely can schedule it out. You just have to do the heavy lifting of just recording batch sessions at a time.
So you can take the hour worth of work, maybe hour and a half,
right,
and then turn that into a bunch of 2-minute segments here and there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And therefore, it's really not, no one wakes up and like, I'm going to do these 2 minutes today, another 2 minutes tomorrow. Like some people will make the content at the beginning of the week and just sparse that out.
Yeah.
And that's the easy way.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned what you don't want to do is take that one video where you're wearing the exact same thing, the same scene. Like we're going to take this and cut it into 5 different spots. This is awkward in case we do that. But so what are the other mistakes you see people do? You've been successful at this. What do you see like, oh man, you should have avoided that? No, not using specific examples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes people, I love that people just jump into it, but a little things here and there, just adding a mic. You can add a $10 mic, clip it here, attach it to your phone so you have clear audio, right? Sometimes people are just really far from it, or they don't really look at their angles. There'll be videos where, like with this water bottle, it's standing up straight right now, but on camera, it looks like this, and so sometimes they're not taking that time to do post-production perfection. And I think that if people just dedicated just a little bit more time with that and really just going from there. Cleaning their camera lens is a really big thing. I get it. Sometimes things in our pockets, we grab it out and it smudges our camera and stuff. Just really streaky stuff. We want to make sure that it's something that the customer or the consumer wants to watch. And a lot of times people are captivated within the first 3 seconds of whatever they're watching. So if you don't have a good hook, if your screen is just really foggy and unclear, you're going to lose your audience already. So I definitely say start with a great hook, be visually appealing, and make sure things look great.
How do we find a hook?
A hook is very easy. A hook can be something as simple as I put a water bottle down, I look at the screen, and I'm just like, dang, what a really rough day. And people are like, why? Why was it so rough? What happened? Or, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I just found in this house. It completely blew my mind. What did you find in the house? You know what people want that mini cliffhanger, and then you lead into the video. It doesn't have to be insane. And if you can't think of what to say, sometimes even video hooks work well as well. So what I normally recommend, if I would put a tripod right here, looking at that front door, it'd just be me walking in, and I come and sit down, we change angles, it's me sitting down. They're like, what is he sitting down to? I'm kind of involved. I'm invested. What is happening here? So even if you can't think of what to say, a video hook, it's absolutely perfect.
So the hook doesn't necessarily have to be words or a cliffhanger. It can be visual as well. Mm-hmm. Now, is there a difference between a hook and I don't know, is it called like shtick or like is it brand maybe? Like, oh, every time I come into the video, I'm going to slide on in, right? Yeah. Or like, oh, you say the same thing when you're entering the content starts. Is that the hook as well, or is that your brand?
It could be both. A little bit of both. It depends, because sometimes it could get a little overwhelming. Like my thing for a little while was back with another hat, because I would always wear hats and it'd be different types of hats. But after a while, it was like, oh. Like for me, I was like, okay, this is getting a little bit repetitive, a little bit redundant. So you have to try to figure out where to move that stick so that it doesn't become a something that just happens too frequently and you lose your audience.
And then it's just it doesn't have the same attraction as it did.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about finding your brand.
Yeah.
I think we were talking earlier and I said that I wanted to wear my velvet suit because I knew you were coming, and instead I wore this, right? And not that this is wrong. No. Because what I was saying is, like, for me, this is my brand, right? Mm-hmm. Like just wearing a basic suit, I think I feel comfortable in it. Mm-hmm. How you feel comfortable in what you're wearing. How do people find what they feel comfortable in? I mean, it took me some time to figure out, like, you're actually okay. Like you like wearing a suit. And how would you tell people to find their brand?
I think it comes through a space of comfortability. I've been I think it was with the military and then getting out and having to go to so many galas that were black tie this and X, Y, and Z. I've always just felt uncomfortable with just wearing full button-up suit and tie. It's never been me. I like to express. I like to have fun with the fashion that I'm wearing. And that's how I came to be what I'm wearing. Now, when it comes to people, I think that real estate is one of the few industries that is also still pretty traditional. Some people still feel, there's nothing wrong with that, but every day needs to be a suit and tie, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to shake it up and maybe loosen up the tie a little bit, or maybe add a little bit of sparkle to your blazer, I think that's okay, and it's having fun with what makes you feel good. I think one of the big things is, as long as you are comfortable in it, go for it. And I think what also really helps is that when people see you and they compliment what you're wearing, you're like, oh wait, I think I might have just found who I am. If I feel comfortable in it and it makes other people feel joy, this might be where I need to be. And that's what's really solidified, especially with me. So that's where I think that people can start.
Do you think some people think that their brand has to be as generic as possible to attract as many people as possible, and that's a failure?
Yes, but I think that being generic makes you blend in with everyone. So if you blend in, no one's really going to notice you. And I know that for me, these loud outfits definitely help get noticed, and at my social media class I did with YPN, I showed two very distinct videos. One when I first got into real estate, where I was very
What did that one look like?
It was very bland suit tie. The funniest way I could put it, it was almost monochromatic, even though it wasn't monochromatic, but that was just the vibe and the energy it gave. It was, hi guys, welcome to this great house behind me. My name is MarkAnthony. I'm your realtor for today, right? And then there was another video right next to it, beautiful intro, great suit that I wore. It was really nice, but it was still open shirt, etc. And it was like, hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is and you just felt the difference from when I was uncomfortable in an outfit to being really comfortable in an outfit with the experience that I've had, because that video was maybe recorded year 1 versus year 4 that I recorded the second video. So you have the confidence behind you. You've done so many different tours. You know exactly what you're talking about, and you feel good. There's nothing that beats that.
How do we help people find year 4 video closer to the start, right? Like, it took you 4 years to get there. So, and year 1 was where you thought you should be. Mm-hmm. Before I say how do we get there, let's talk about, well, tell us about that transition. Like, where did you start feeling like, you know what, I'm not comfortable in this video? Like, how did that happen?
I think that for a while, I just knew I needed to get on video. So I said, look, perfection is the antithesis of progress. And I said, just go out there. It doesn't matter if you don't have the outfit, if you don't have the know-how, if you don't have this, you don't have that. You have to at least start. And so I recorded that video and I watched it back immediately. And at that time, I thought it was great. But then as we continue and you continue to work with your same videographer, you'll look back and you'll start trying different things. And you're just like, oh, I didn't like this. I felt like I could have brought more energy here. I could have done that. And my videographer and I, we have a great relationship because we'll start a scene and we'll record the entire thing. And he's like, MarkAnthony, I don't like it. We have to do it all over again. And I think that it takes a certain level of trust in your business to have someone who can tell you how to do that. And through the years, we've just done bigger properties and bigger price points and more aesthetically pleasing. So things that we're both excited about, it shows on camera. I think my very first time I wasn't excited because it was just, I'm just getting it done. But now year 4, year 5, I'm just, look at this house. I'm super excited to show you. Let's go, wah, wah, wah. And that's how it works.
Now, were you showing houses you were listing, or you just found content that you thought was interesting?
Both.
Okay.
So there were some houses that I was listing. There was also houses that were within my brokerage that I wasn't listing, but hey, John, you're with eXp Realty. I'm with eXp Realty. I'd love to showcase this multi-million-dollar home that you have. You could even be in it if you'd like, because a lot of times, even listing agents, they're scared to get on camera too. I'm like, hey, even if you just want to be there for the intro to say, hey, welcome to the house, go ahead and take a look. That even helps out as well. So I always love doing that.
Have you found that partnering with people has also been helpful to your trajectory?
Absolutely. Because, you meet new people that you never thought that you would. I met this really great agent in my brokerage, Audrey Etheridge, love her to death, but I never would have met her had I not reached out to her and said, hey, you have some great listings. I'd love to showcase them. The first one, she wasn't in it. The second one, she was in it. And now she's like, hey, when's the next video? When are we doing something?
I like it.
Yeah, she's having a lot of fun with it. And from there, she posts on her social media and I meet some people that are from her social media. So it turns into a circle of just connection and just really fun and support. So I'm really happy about that.
So, I mean, it's advice to go and try and find someone who you want to emulate and say, hey, can I go with you? Can I do this? Mm-hmm. Or can you help me with my listing? Yeah. Okay. So, how would we speed up from year 1 to year 5? I mean, you're going to say everyone needs 4 years in order to get there?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think there's a fast way to get there. I think it's just do the work. And even before doing the work, who do you want to be in real estate? I think that's the biggest thing. You need to figure out what the end goal is when it comes to producing videos. If you can figure out who that is, you should be able to reverse engineer, hey, this is what my video should look like. This is what I want to say. This is the homes that I want to show. This is the trajectory that I really want to go.
So when we talk about how this is going to help my business, mm-hmm. Are we telling realtors, our members, hey, doing this is going to help you find more listings? Is it going to help you find more buyers? Is it going to help you sell your house quicker? What should be their motivation? Like, is it all listing and buyer's agents should all get on board? Just the new agents who are trying to find clients?
Yeah. I think realistically, I've gotten both listings and buyers from social media, and it's been wonderful. And I've gotten referrals too. I've had people who said, "Hey, I looked at your Instagram, and you're the reason why I want to work with you to, refer my clients over to you," which has been a complete blessing. But ultimately, I tell people social media is not for your friends. Even though they follow you, great. But your social media is for the identity that you want to push out for what you are trying to achieve. Right. So if you're trying to be the best buyer's agent on the planet, I don't care if your best friend Steven is upset that he's seeing all of your real estate stuff. The content's not for Steven. It's for the people who need a great real estate agent, someone that they can trust. So put out that content, you know what I mean? And you're going to find the right people. If you hashtag right, if you build your captions like you're supposed to, the algorithm is going to take you and skyrocket you to the moon. I think that now a lot of people were so focused back when Instagram was just a complete hashtag space. You can just hashtag a billion things and it would just pick up. Instagram has since then changed from a caption heavy based platform. So you need to be really great at storytelling. If you are not good at storytelling, whether you're a brand new agent, a seasoned agent, etc., the algorithm is not going to pick you up. You're not going to go anywhere. You'll get 3 likes, one of which is your dog, the other one is your mom. Like, we need to ensure that we are pushing out the content that people are going to connect with. So that's what I tell people. If you're new, jump into it, be a great storyteller, and go from there.
Hashtags. So hashtags are not what they used to be, but you still need them.
Yes.
Explain.
So back then, people would, even me, I would put 30 hashtags of just random things and hoping the algorithm would pick it up. One of them,
it was always viral. I never understood, like, was that going to make, okay.
Yeah, viral, FYP, just stuff that did not have anything to pertain to the post that I was making. Instagram now wants you to be more deliberate. So if you just helped a military buyer move to San Antonio from Anchorage, Alaska, caption, storytell, military, PCS. If they went to JBSA and they started working there, hashtag JBSA. And that's really about it. Nothing too crazy. Or even hashtag realtor, hashtag San Antonio realtor. That's really about it. The second we start adding any more, Instagram's like, wait a second. Why did you just add that? Why are we adding 14 things? And then they start to deprioritize you. And then you fall on deaf ears.
And the caption is what? You said caption.
It's usually just your storytelling.
Okay.
Hey, I met Bob and Maria from a great referral. They're PCSing here. This is what we did during our online buyer's consultation. You have to build the narrative to people because people see that you do your job, but they want to know how you did your job. Just because the way that media is going is building a lot of distrust in our industry. And so if you don't tell people what you do and how you do it, people will never know, and that they will undervalue us as a profession.
Excellent content. I love that because I feel our members are absolutely working to make sure that consumers know the importance of a realtor and why to use one as part of the transaction. Do you think that consumers have a new conception of what the real estate agent is?
Absolutely. All these real estate TV shows, starting with $1 Million Listing to Selling Sunset to Owning Manhattan.
That's not what real life is for you?
No, not at all. I'm here doing chores on a house that I don't even do at my own house. I'm sweeping leaves. I'm mopping floors. I'm like, what am I doing?
How did you get here?
Exactly.
They said I was just going to show up in a Benz and
That's it. Yeah. You think you can show up, sell a $6 million home, get your compensation and move on to the next. That's not what it is at all. We have to be able to expectation management. Some days you're there, hair tied in sweatpants doing chores and cleaning and all this other stuff that you did not expect. These shows that don't show. They're like, oh, we just fell out of a $3 million escrow. We'll just go to the next one. That's not how it is at all.
That's going to be a pretty angry transaction. Yeah,
exactly. But, in today's day and age, people just think that, oh, I can get a real estate license and just make all this money, have all this fun and wear the heels and all of this. And on a perfect day, sure. But 9 times out of 10, there have been 8-hour days where I'm driving to both sides of town. I'm on the 151 with one client, then I'm all the way out in Selma with another client. And it's a whole thing. So that's not really what life is.
So is part of the story also telling people, consumers, hey, this is what we do for you. We help you when the transaction's going to go awry and trying to help it keep it on the rails. We're going to make sure that you have the financing. You're not getting into something that you're going to go in over your head. That's the stuff that I don't think Netflix and all those other shows do well. They make it seem like, oh, everyone has a whole bunch of cash apparently to buy houses, which I didn't know everyone was a cash buyer.
Yeah.
And that it's just super easy to find. Like, what do you think that they're missing? Like, what do you put in your stories to make sure consumers know, like, actually what we do is way more important and way more of a heavy lift?
Yeah. So even this morning, before this podcast, 9 a.m., I'm doing repair negotiations for my buyer clients. I take a video of what I'm doing. Hey guys, look, this is the inspection reports on this left side, my write-ups on the right side. We're going through these items. We're looking for heavy hitting items, foundation, plumbing, roof, electrical, HVAC, right? Selling Sunset and all those others, they don't talk about the inspection process or any of that. And what's important, kind of like what you mentioned, hey, we need to explain how we do ABC. It's important that the agent does it themselves. If they post just a general graphic of 99 ways a real estate agent works for you, there's no connectivity between the consumer and MarkAnthony if I just post a graphic. But if MarkAnthony sits on video talking head and says, hey guys, look, my name is MarkAnthony. You're going through a transaction. This is some of the pain points that you may see. This is how I, as your agent, navigates them. Then it continues to build the know, like, and trust outside of the graphic that people see. Because again, it turns into spam that no one really cares to read because it doesn't pertain to them. But if we have that hook of, hey guys, you might experience this. Like, hey, during COVID, if it underappraises, what's going to happen? Back then, buyers were going in over asking, and if it still was we busted the appraisal wide open, we had to figure something out from there. That's some of the stuff that I feel like agents really need to get more involved in and talk to people about. Or even when they do their buyer's consultation, I'll ask my clients, hey, can I record this? I'll mute it out and everything, but it still shows what we're doing on how we can provide value to the clients.
So you have to be comfortable asking your clients also, do they mind doing this content with you?
Yes. I have my clients sign a media release form, every single one, both buyers and sellers.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the 99 things that a real estate agent does. We all saw that kind of PDF going around.
Yeah.
But you said that, and I was like, you know what? I could just go through each one of those is one video.
Exactly.
But not say it, but just show it, right? Like,
exactly.
So there's my framework for the year. Like, if I need a social media plan, make one video for each of those and put that out there. I mean, is it I don't know if that's an appropriate question, but like, do you just like, you know what? This is a great article. I'm going to take these ideas and just turn it into a video.
Absolutely. Rip off and duplicate.
It's just flattery, right? That's all we're doing.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. And then to expand on that 99 things, if you're like, hey, I don't want to do talking heads for all 99, go to a builder. They love when you make content in their model homes because they need their space to sell. So even though you think you're not highlighting the builder space, you really are. You're getting great content in a beautiful home. The builder gets what they need. You make a great connection because sometimes some of the builders get unrepresented buyers. And if you do enough content for them, they'll say, hey, MarkAnthony is a great agent. I'm just going to go ahead and connect you with MarkAnthony. He'll work with you and go from there. So take one of those 99 things, go to your favorite builder and just ask them, hey, is it okay if I shoot some content here?
They're going to say
9 times
yes.
out of 10, they're going to say
yes.
yes.
They're going to be like, absolutely.
Absolutely. How much time do you need? I'll lock it up for you.
I'll hold the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Do it as a skit. People love it.
So let me ask you this, MarkAnthony. Is there a MarkAnthony real estate brand? And then is there a, MAB account somewhere else that you actually share with friends and family?
No, I don't have a Finsta at all.
Okay.
I thoroughly
Finsta?
Yeah, that's what everyone. At least that's
know.
what my little sister's calling it. If she watches this and I said it wrong, Michaela, I'm so sorry.
At least you knew we were close. I was like, whatever that thing is called, secret account.
I don't like 2 Instagrams. It's too much work to do.
So like I worry about posting because my Thea's gonna be like, "Hi, Mijo, I'm so proud of you." But then I'm afraid that someone's gonna see that and like that's not very professional. So how do you manage that? Do you keep it professional then? Or do you also put a little bit of your own personal stuff on them?
Yeah, I think that this is the tale as old as time. People want to have that level of separation. I am just an open book type of person. I want my clients to know that I just went to a vacation on Hawaii with my family. I want them to know that, I celebrated my niece's birthday at Disney World because we're real people and we have real boundaries. And, for me, I have business hours and there's reasons why I have business hours because I'm out hanging out with my niece or doing this or doing that. And so I will post that so people know I'm not just an 11 o'clock in the evening phone call to say, hey, what are you doing? This is my idea. I tell my clients, hey, if there's something that pops up at 11 o'clock, send it to me in a text. I'll get it to you the next morning. But I think it's important that people build that relationship connection because there might be something that you do personally that your client loves to do. You could be an avid golfer and your client is a PGA World Tour golfer and he's like, bro, I had no idea. And before you know it, you guys are the best of friends, and now you guys are golfing, and now you meet his circle and people who need to buy and who need to sell. So it's a tale as old as time of, do I stay super professional? Do I add some personal? How much personal do I add? How much personal is too personal? Like, I know that there are some people who don't like that I post some of my gym progress on social media. I'm just an open book with things. I feel like as long as I am not doing anything unprofessional in my real estate craft itself, it's good. If I'm doing a workout video of me doing chest pressing, and if y'all don't feel like that's something that needs to be on my real estate profile, that's between you and God, honey. That has nothing to do with me. But for me, people like to connect with that. Oh my gosh, you work out at this gym? This gym looks really cool. Or I didn't know that you love to go snowboarding. I love snowboarding. Post the content that you feel like you're going to make connections with people with. That's the way I put it.
Because what you're doing is essentially creating unique content that perhaps attracts someone who's more in line with the way you want to live, right? Like, I mean, as opposed to when you started, at the very beginning, you were trying to make something that was applicable to everyone, and therefore they had none of your personality. So now you're like, well, this is my personality. Going to the gym and working out is what I enjoy to do, and the people I want to work with will like to do that as well.
Exactly.
Is there a boundary though? Like, right? Like, I love cats.
Yeah.
I don't love cats. I hate cats.
Yeah, same.
But I have a cat in my house. We can talk about that another time.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, me too. To all those cat people out there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They are wonderful, especially when they ruin your furniture.
Yeah.
So, but there's somebody who is like, you know what? I am trying to follow that advice, right? MarkAnthony said to show my personality. So every day is another cat video that I've just kind of reposted for someone else. Is that achieving the same thing?
Not necessarily. I think that when you oversaturate, it could be too much. Like every day for me is not every day a gym picture. Like right now I'm going through renovations with my home and I'm posting updates of what's happening with my home, or, hey, now I got to go out to a listing appointment. Like, people like to follow the behind the scenes stuff. I have so many people messaging me like, what's happening next? What's happening next? What's happening next? And another thing to really bring back to all the time with professionalism, sometimes people don't need you right now. And sometimes your hook is, hey, I'm a golfer, you're a golfer. And so they follow you because you guys are golfers. But then it also turns into, oh, you also happen to be a real estate agent. But if it's all business all the time, people don't want to follow business all the time. They want to know that who they're working with or who they're following is an actual person that they can actually connect with. Because you meet John and Susie on social media right now, they may not be ready for another year and a half. And when it comes time to circle back, hey, I love that you do this, I love that you do that, but also we're ready to sell our house. And you're like, cool. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So sometimes business all the time doesn't grab the audience that you're looking for. Adding a little bit of personal flair will definitely help.
Okay. Is there a trick to going viral?
No.
No, there's no trick? Mm-mm. What do you mean?
I've only been viral twice, and the best thing that can happen...
You're just saying it's just a fluke.
It's just a fluke.
Literally is.
I did not expect my videos to go to the moon the way that it did. I did not expect it.
What was it?
It was talking about the NAR settlement on August 17th when buyer's representation agreements went into effect. It was me as the agent just super nervous because I've been showing without a buyer's rep, like, oh my gosh, my client is coming. I still haven't had them sign the buyer's rep. Oh my gosh. And like the client was a very like uppity, nose in the air type of client, like, oh, I'm not signing anything. I've worked with you in the past. You know what I mean? It happened to be me.
This was content you created.
It was content I created.
Okay. So this wasn't really happening like
No. It was all a spoof video.
All scripted.
It was all scripted. The other client was just me in a wig and a jacket, and it was cute. It was great. But it really just showed people like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to talk to my clients too. Like, what do we do? There's a lot of people who were upset about my shorts and how short they were. You're like, oh, that's not professional. But I mean, like Kris Jenner taught me, all publicity is good publicity. So, so we took it and we ran with it, and it's something that the best thing that can happen is going viral. Also, the worst thing that can happen is going viral, because you never know how it's going to play out. And you don't know if after the virality dies, if your account just no longer gets the reach that it used to anymore. So that's what I normally tell people. The great thing, you get a whole lot of people on your face. The bad thing is once your time has passed, we don't know if your content will ever have reach again.
Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you have a momager?
No, I handle myself.
You do all your own stuff. Okay.
I'm my own Kris Jenner.
So how do you keep? The last bit of advice to folks, like how do we want them to work on keeping people engaged?
Make content that you would be interested in watching. Like if you scroll through TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, if there's a video that you skip and you scroll back to, you're like, whoa, what is that? that is the type of content you need to be putting out. And it doesn't need to be fully produced. It doesn't need to be anything crazy with a videographer. Sometimes it's just changing up the angles of the camera. You can start with the camera over here, then move it across the table. Just showing different angles captures people's attention and it'll bring them in. So make something that you think that you would stop for. So look at different other real estate agents' profiles, rip off and duplicate. I guarantee that agent is not going to come to your page and be like, hey, that was the video I made 7 months ago. How dare you? We don't care. We're all just trying to make a living. We're all trying to capture our audience. And even if your video doesn't meet the target audience that you're looking for, 200 views is way better than door knocking 200 houses.
I mean, some people like to cold call 200 people too.
Well, God bless.
Cold calling is not a part of your strategy?
It is when it's for expired listings in a neighborhood that I really want to get into.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm a word of mouth, social media, referral based agent.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you said you were, in line. You wanted to go to medical school. You did this. You wanted to pay off some debt. But now, 5 years later, you're still here.
Yeah.
Why?
I love this.
What about it makes you love it?
Oh, man. My mom was a single mom of me and my sister, and I grew up bouncing from house to house. And my first clients were folks who could just afford what they could afford. And I love seeing when the kids run in and they find their perfect room, and then we get them approved, and then we can get the seller to pay the closing costs, and we get the repair. That's what I absolutely live for. I did not know that I had such a servant heart up until I came into real estate. I think being in the military, you just had to do what you needed to do, especially with being in medicine. Like, yeah, you help people out, but being in real estate with the biggest asset of people's lives, whether buying or selling, they're able to start a new life or they're able to restart a new life by selling their home and taking those proceeds to doing whatever it is. You have an actual impact in these people's lives. And I love bringing that immense joy to people when we can meet their expectations, if not exceed their expectations. Granted, there are some opportunities where you're not going to be able to do that all the time. Sometimes your listings will expire, it's just a terrible time to sell, and you get under asking offer prices and they have to come out of the hole or they have to end up renting. But I love when I get to do my job the way that people expect me to.
Do you think, the parts that you love is kind of what we always see highlighted on TV, mm-hmm. But you also mentioned briefly there, like there's the other parts, but that's also what you put in your content as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, and knowing that it's difficult still, knowing that you may have to tell someone, well, we're going to have to wait a while, find the right house, or that offer didn't get approved. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you manage that to keep you going? I mean, if this wasn't part of the plan, but it is called to you, what is it that keeps you going?
Yeah. So in instances like that, I actually do a spoof post on stuff like that. Like, hey, I put out an offer on 123 Main Street, and then I post the same thing with a red stamp on it that says denied. LOL, just kidding. Our offer wasn't accepted. You know what I mean? Because people want to see that real stuff. MarkAnthony's offer didn't get accepted, or they had to terminate because
they just assume every offer you make, I guess, gets accepted.
Exactly. They don't see that stuff. So I put out, hey, terminated during option period because ABC 1, 2, 3. I love the transparency of things because we're not going to win everything in real estate. And again, it comes to the expectation management of, hey, look, I know that you guys are set to leave here in 2 months. Your average days on market in your neighborhood is 120 days. I am not a wizard. I can't expect to get things sold within your time frame, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to work with me, I will do everything I can to move it as quickly as possible. I have a few listings right now where we're in that same space. My sellers had to leave due to military PCS, and their home is still on the market. But that's expected from the days on market that I briefed them during our listing presentation. Does it suck sometimes? Absolutely, because they're like, hey, how much longer? How many showings are we getting? And when you expect to tell them, hey, this is just what's going to happen, and we're still doing our marketing, and we're still open housing and everything, as long as they trust you, I think everything works out fine.
You mentioned earlier that you are participating in Leadership San Antonio here, so
Yeah.
I know you're investing in you. Where do you want your investment to have you in 10 years? When we bring you back in 10 years, where are you going to be?
Oh, man. Hopefully Celebrity Delusion takes off, and we're on HGTV.
I get to say I knew you when.
Yeah,
and I talked
Netflix
to you before then.
and all of that. Who's to say if Netflix is going to still be alive in 10 years? I don't know, but that's really the goal. And I want to continue to help people. I really want to continue to just bring more awareness to things. I'm really big on homeless populations, so if I can use my platforms to help eliminate homelessness, especially starting in San Antonio, moving up to state and then national level, that's really something that I really want to do. So I really just enjoy giving back. I think Leadership San Antonio is going to give me the platform to do so, to meet the connections that I'm going to need to in the city. So we'll see. I'm very excited.
Before I tell everyone thank you for their time, I need you to give them a pep talk and tell them you can do this. Social media, everything I said is completely doable.
Absolutely. Now look, guys, when it comes to social media, the hardest part is just getting started, just like with anything new. You know, we didn't learn to walk the first time that we walked, or learn how to ride a bike, or learn to swim the first time we tried. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of frustration. It takes a lot of self-critiquing. But once we understand what we're looking for, it's able to be done. So think of who you want to be and who you want to emulate, and slowly take baby steps. Your first video is not going to be perfect, but I know that with a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, it's going to work out. You can definitely take a look at my social media, kind of see what videos you like, what videos you don't like, how you'd like to emulate and see, at MarkAnthony Ball on Instagram and any other social platform. But this is absolutely doable. There's so many people who are ready to meet you. You just have to put out that content, because your clients are your clients. There's no other way around it. I can post a video and I won't hit that same amount of people. People are waiting for your content to come out. So post that content, meet your tribe, meet your new clients, and go from there.
MarkAnthony, I greatly appreciate you coming in, sharing with our members your success. I hope they will leverage your advice to reach their own. And I have full confidence that I will be able to go behind the scenes on your future show. So we're super excited for you. Thank you so much. To our listeners, please feel free to continue to listen to this content. And I will also let everyone know that the views about cats are mine and mine only, and not those of the association. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
Bye, y'all.